So I did a speak-them the other day about regrets, and I really want to thank everybody who left their comments about how they deal with regrets and things that they've done in the past they're not too proud of. I'm very happy to have gotten that kind of response, and I'm glad the video touched a lot of people. And a lot of the things that I was regretful for are things that most people don't even know about. It's just stuff that goes on in my personal life, and even all the way back in like high school and middle school. I still think about certain things that I did that shouldn't have done, and it really put things into perspective. Now, the thing about me is I try to be very real with everything I do. I'm very, very real, or at least I try to be as real as I can be with every video I put up, with everything that I do in my line of work, or whatever you want to call it, when it comes to, I guess creating content or distributing news or whatever the case is. And the thing about me is I'm a very passionate person, and sometimes I wear my heart on my shoulder, which leads to some, things that I've said that are a strong opinion of mine, that are something I believe in, but other people might not agree, which again, that's the world. Everybody has an opinion, and to be honest, I would rather be a real motherfucker than be a phony baloney fucking snake, because the things that I've dealt with since starting to do this over on Geekdom 101 and World of Geekdom, is the most annoying thing is just how phony and fake some people can be. I mean, what I'm talking about is not like the audience, it's the content creators. And I don't mean the people who are my friends, 'cause I have a lot of friends in this fandom. I try to be friends with everybody. There's a small handful of people in this fandom that are so fucking fake and phony that it literally sickens me. Like, it's one thing, again, to everybody lies once in a while, especially when you're backed up into a corner. Sometimes you lie, or you have anxiety and you lie to try to get out of it. It happens. When you're a kid, you get caught, stealing. You lie, and it happens. I've never been caught stealing, but, it happens. I've done other things I got caught for, like pranks and things like that, where I lied to try to get myself out of it. We all do that. But what I'm talking about is the people who are so fake, and they put on this fake phony image, and it really sickens me, because there's people out there who do this who are so fucking fake, and they portray this character that maybe in their own heads they believe is true. Maybe they are pathological liars, but at the end of the day, they're just fucking scum. And after a while, after a long time of being a liar and a manipulator and a bullshitter, people start to catch on to your bullshit. Because if your audience, like if you're doing YouTube and you're covering things that kind of are, young to, teenage to adult stuff, like, movies, Star Wars, Dragon Ball, whatever you're talking about, you're going to attract young people who are going to buy into your bullshit. They're going to buy into your bullshit, but eventually what ends up happening is those young people grow up and they realize that you're full of shit and that you're a con artist. Now, I'm not going to say any names because I don't want to inhibit somebody from enjoying someone else's content. That's not what I do. If I'm provoked and if I'm pissed off enough, then maybe someday it'll get there, like with that trash dude. But it's one of those things where I just don't like drama. I don't like bringing stuff up like that. But at the same time, there's just people in this fandom, or on YouTube, really. I say fandom because I'm a part of multiple fandoms, who are just such slimy individuals. They'll go out there and they'll publicly put out these phony inspirational messages about achieving your goals and dreams. And again, I fully believe, and I've talked about it on Speakdoms here, that you should chase your goals and dreams. And they'll put out these messages about how, they themselves aren't shady, they themselves are honest, and they're not. They're a bunch of fucking liars and manipulators. And another reason why I don't want to say any names is because in the past, when I have said names, said parties love to play the victim. They love to fucking play the victim and cry, sometimes publicly, sometimes privately. Sometimes they'll go in their little Discord servers and send their pussy 12-year-old army to try to say something to me, and it's annoying as fucking very cowardly. See, that's the other thing too, is that, if you provoke somebody and then you come back and you say, oh, he's bullying me, even though you're the one doing the provoking, and you actually are cowardly, so cowardly that you send your lemmings after me, like, I'm gonna smell pussy from a mile away. And it's funny because some of these dudes, when you look at them, like, they're not particularly, like, weak dudes as far as physically goes, but they're fucking pussies, and they have the heart of a coward. See what I'm saying? And you really have to, when you get into this content creation thing, if anybody listening to this wants to take it seriously, you got to be real careful who you trust. And these situations with these kind of people have really made me second guess who I trust and who I bring into my inner circle and who I'm there for. You know what I mean? Because it's amazing to me that sometimes you're dealing with individuals that have such a lack of self-awareness that they'll sit there and they'll snake people and they'll lie without even realizing that they're doing it. Then when they get caught, they play the victim card, which is probably the most cowardly thing you could possibly do, is do that. So the important thing to understand is that the best thing you can do is be as real as possible. Now, that doesn't mean you have to give away your entire personal life story. You don't have to give away what you're going through in your personal life, or give away, everything about yourself, even though some stories are very interesting. But that also means that in general, you shouldn't try to be something that you're not. And there's so many people out there who literally, again, it's sickening to me. They literally copy everything I do. They do videos similar to me, then they pretend they don't. They steal topics, they steal translations, they steal thumbnails, they steal art. They do all these different things just to be like me. They promote their videos similar, but more annoyingly. They do it, and it's really fucking annoying, but at the same time, like in the back of my head, I laugh because they eventually become irrelevant, and that's pretty much what has happened to many of them. They become irrelevant. Because true content creators that are respectable and that, are, I guess, the best that they can be, they earn the audience's respect. And I'm not a perfect guy. Like, there's been times in the past where I've gone off on people when I shouldn't have. There's been times where I've jumped the gun. And I'm sorry about that. Everybody knows by now that I have anger issues. But I'd rather have anger issues and tell you about it than be a fucking snake and pretend like I'm this, righteous person who would never wrong anybody and, is a businessman. Like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Nobody above the age of 14 actually believes it unless you walk the walk. And nowadays, people can see who actually walks the walk and who doesn't. You know what I'm saying? It's pathetic. It really is. It's fucking sad and it's pathetic. And when it comes to my business, I'm not going to let that shit slide. You know what I mean? I'm not going to let that shit slide when it comes to like stuff that I do. And my whole point of making this video is to tell people out there that just because you see a creator acting a certain way, maybe he's overly happy or cheerful or really, really nice. Some of these guys are so nice. They'll come up to you. They'll shake your hand. They'll talk to you like you're their pal. They're legitimate con artists. And then behind the eyeballs, you're seeing somebody who's actually a snake, who's actually in it for themselves, who are going to try to use you for whatever reason. Or they'll do things and they know what they're doing is wrong, and they'll do it over and over and over again. Then by the time you've explained to them 15 times what they're doing wrong, they still do it, and you got to drop them. You just have to drop them, you know what I mean? And it's just something you got to watch out for. Some people have often wondered, why don't certain creators do more collaborations? Now, I do a lot of collaborations. I do. I'm all for opportunity. But really, it's because of this. It's because you don't want to deal with people who are going to try to use you, and you don't want to deal with people who are going to try to be something that they're not, who could potentially hurt your brand or who could potentially hurt your reputation. See what I'm saying? And I've tried my best to disconnect these people from my life and anything that I'm involved in. See what I'm saying? So the main thing here is to just remember that just because somebody acts a certain way on a video and says certain things that might seem appealing to you, it could all be bullshit. Usually guys who try so hard to be nice and try so hard to say that they do all these great things, most of the time they're not that great. Because if you really are doing great things, you don't have to brag about it all the damn time, and you don't have to take these fortune cookie quotes and pretend like you're this scholar when really you have the reputation from anybody who has a brain of being a fucking douchebag. And it's real bad when you keep making the same mistakes over and over again, get called out by just about everybody, and then keep making the same mistakes expecting it to change. Like, it's funny to me. It makes you an idiot. And it makes you a fucking joke, all right? And that's the one thing you don't want to be is, you want to be as real as possible. You want to be as authentic as you can. And again, I've made mistakes and I've made regrets, and there's things about me that I've done that I'm not proud of, but I'm not out here pretending to be something that I'm not. At least I'm not trying to, right? And I'm trying to legitimately use these videos to inspire people to really actually go out there and chase their dreams and chase their goals. And whether it be music, whether you're an artist, whether you want to be a streamer, whatever you want to do, you should go for it. I don't like this idea that we have to all follow this uniform reality where we have to either be a doctor or a lawyer because our mom and dad want us to, or we have to go to law school or, well, whatever school. It doesn't have to be law school and become this and that. I mean, you should get an education, but make sure you get one in something that you're interested in, not just something that pays well, because really the money might be good for a while if you get a job that pays well but you hate it, but after a while the stress will get to you, and if you don't love what you do, it's going to get to you. I mean, it's going to get to you after a while. It's just how it is. So find something that you love to do and do it, and be real careful with dealing with people who are super nice to your face and they come off at these real positive people when in reality they're just fucking slime balls. They know that they are. I don't think they can't be that stupid to not realize it. And they'll literally, like I said, they'll shake your hand and smile and be real charming and have a conversation with you, and then in reality, they're just trying to use you. You know what I mean? Or they're trying to pretend. They really secretly want to be you, is really what a lot of times it is. And you got to keep those people out of your life and out of your business. You know what I mean? But luckily, in my experience, life and karma is a very real thing. And at the end of the day, the people who have done that to me are now sitting in an empty room screaming at nobody. And that makes me smile. So to me, it's just satisfactory to know that it's better to be you, to be yourself, than pretend to be something you're not.